Welcome back, folks. Thank you for joining me on my channel. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a transformative energy healer and a multidimensional channel. And I think this week I'm going to go ahead and do my usual energy update. I don't know if I'm going to do any other readings this week, to be quite honest with you. I am a little tired and also just really not really being tired so much as just wanting a break, wanting to be in my own space, wanting to sort of shore up my own energy. So some of you might relate to that. I do still have space open for private clients because those are, frankly, restorative for me, working with individuals. But the YouTube videos are at times very draining because there are a lot of individuals out there who watch the videos and sometimes my energy becomes suspect to being drained in that way. So not to get into too many details, but that's one of the reasons why I'm just sort of pulling back a little bit at this time. I want to thank you all for being here, though, and for your comments and your likes and subscribes. I am also going to bring you over here to my website in case you do want to set up a private reading or energy healing session. I am really leaning more toward the energy healing sessions these days. Why? Because I know they're needed for individuals, but also because I feel like that is more in line with my true calling, that the reading and the channeling comes as a part of that. But the energy healing is really something that I understand from other people, and I feel in myself is very unique to what I do. So if you have other questions, you can always reach out to me, and I'm happy to give you more info about how the sessions go, typically over Zoom, so you can really be anywhere in the world. So with that said, I want to make one other announcement, and I apologize for this because it is a bit of a repeat from what I said a couple weeks ago. And every time I say something like this, I notice that I lose like a handful of subscribers, which I really do expect, honestly. And frankly, if, individuals are not willing to respect my boundaries, then I don't need them as subscribers anyway. But I do want to just remind people of sort of basic human decency in being in contact with anyone at any time. But right now we're talking about individuals like myself who put themselves out on YouTube or any other social media channel. We put ourselves out there for the most part, at least in my case and probably for most others, because we want to be of assistance to people. We want to help them. This does not mean that we owe anyone anything. And it also does not mean that we are, shall I say, on display for anyone or available 24/7 or are sort of playthings to be disrespected. And I find that there are a handful still of male viewers who think that it is appropriate to drive conversations which I have tried to conduct in a professional manner toward the sexual or anything that you might not do with a female friend or coworker. Let's just put that out there. If you wouldn't do this with a female friend or coworker, you probably shouldn't be doing it or saying it to an individual that you're contacting online. Okay, I shouldn't need to say that, but it seems that it needs to be said. It crosses boundaries for me. It makes me uncomfortable. I didn't want to have to say anything or say anything at all because I wasn't sure if it was due to my own triggering or if that it is really high time that I stick to boundaries and not continue to sort of brush off blatant crossing of my own personal boundaries. Granted, obviously these people aren't getting any farther than a social media inbox, but it does frustrate me because it is hurtful. And I do feel an energy drain with those people. They are inappropriately attaching and maybe doing this to other people as well. So without going into a lot of detail, this is my second and final request to stop. I have blocked or deleted a number of those people. Some of them continue to try. I know because unfortunately Gmail, even though I've blocked people in my email, Gmail just sends them to your spam or your trash and they sit there for a few days. So unfortunately, I accidentally ran into a few of those messages that I thought were not even coming through. But in any case, not a huge deal. I'm just putting that out there. I chose not to directly say this to individuals because that feels like an invitation for a rebuttal, an invitation for a conversation. Folks, this is not a conversation. No is a complete sentence. And this is me saying no. Okay. So with that unpleasantness aside, and thank you for any of you who listen to that and take it to heart. Not interested in apologies that are seeking a response from me. You will not get one. But thank you for listening, and we will move on to our weekly energy update. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. Let me flip the screen here. There you are. I'm using my brand new Modern Witch Tarot deck, which I'm excited to have gotten. I just want to briefly ask Source to provide us with any messages for the week ahead. I'm going to reset something here. Okay, apologies for that brief disturbance. I needed to reset something really quickly, so I just paused it. All right, so just asking Source Creator again for messages for the collective for roughly the week ahead, even though I know I'm doing this a little later in the week than I had been in the past, but there have been a lot of things going on. So I am definitely out of a rhythm when it comes to making videos. Messages for the collective. Okay. First card out is the Wheel of Fortune. Second card out is the Seven of Pentacles. So I don't know why the Wheel of Fortune always brings me to Jupiter. Always. I guess it's because it's a big orange circle, and that's what Jupiter is to me. It's also about good luck, things going in the right direction. To me, it feels like positive outcomes in general, growth, expansion. That's Jupiter. It just all seems to kind of fit together. And I feel like this is sort of a, so if you're, okay, what they're saying is a lot of people might be revisiting. I remember in the last reading, I was talking about, especially to the divine feminine, if you were revisiting old thought patterns, don't become concerned. Don't become self-critical. Allow yourself to move through it, because this is part of a sort of a clearing cycle, which is kind of catching the remnants, things that have been left behind throughout the rest of the year, revisiting some of those old lessons. And so it's a very short time here. This is sort of a card of waiting for things to come to fruition. But to be honest, it feels to me right now just like a very short time before things start moving in another direction. Okay. Still working on my asthma here. Apologize for those coughs. So this time of kind of revisiting and kind of waiting and maybe even sitting in that energy of discomfort is serving a purpose. And it's a purpose that is kind of intended by the powers that be in some level for you to go through this right now. It's not a punishment. It's not because you didn't do something right. Like, it's not because you're behind in your development. It's because it's part of the process. And so that's sort of what they want me to make clear to you right now. I also get this feeling of like old cycles ending. And so this is sort of a time that's getting tied up and tied off so that you can fully so that you can come into your own full expression within the new cycle, which is coming forward, and it will bring you, I just keep feeling the feeling of abundance, like almost like the harvest that comes about after this waiting period, this period of growth and patience. So do know, and I don't know what part of your life it's going to be in. I don't want to tell everybody this is all about love or this is about money. It could be about anything, really. In fact, if you want to look at where, I think we talked about where Sagittarius is in your chart, which house that is in. I also want you to look at where your natal Jupiter is. So those areas in your life are about to get touched, I think, by the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, which to me, I don't know if there's any actual esoteric basis in this, but to me right now, that feels like the energy of Jupiter. Okay, so the energy of Jupiter touching the house where your natal Jupiter is and where Jupiter currently is, those two houses for you. There might be they're telling me that there might be individual details depending on how those two points line up in your chart. Like if they happen to be square each other, that might be different. Your experience might be different than someone who has them trine each other or opposite each other or no real alignment whatsoever. So just be aware that those things in your life are being touched. And as a generally benefic energy, that's the right way to say that, right? I don't know. That's what I just heard, benefic. That is going to be positive for basically everybody in some way. For a lot of people, it's going to be breaking out of old problems or habits that have been going on for a long time, putting it to bed, sort of turning that wheel of fate away from the sort of negative manifestation of the energies in that house in your chart and allowing them to manifest more fully in a more positive way. Because the energies are just the energies. Like, I feel like depending on then how we interact with them, what we do with them, and what the other energies are doing, they can manifest on a different part of the spectrum, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's get some more messages. So that to me feels very positive. It feels very, I heard the word faith too just now. So having faith that this is coming in, that does not mean spiritual bypassing. It doesn't mean shove down any pain or discomfort you're going through right now. The advice I've been getting personally for a long time, but really through the last few weeks where I've really been busting through a lot of difficult patterns and programs, is to feel the energy in its fullest and kind of be like, if you want to picture these emotions as energies and you picture yourself as like the copper wire that's conducting it, allow yourself to be that copper wire and conduct it straight through. So you're getting the experience, you're getting the upgrade, you're getting the attunement that the emotion has to offer you, but you are allowing it to pass through your body. You're not allowing it to become stuck within you, within your energy field, within any of your energy bodies or your physical body, if that makes sense, okay? Any other messages for the collective, please, for the week ahead? Messages for the collective. Any of you who have not been feeling hopeful, have been feeling very hopeless, maybe faithless, things are changing. In some way, things are changing. There's that death card again. It continues to come out. Which to me is great because it does seem to represent this energy of transformation, which is exactly what I feel like so many people are going through right now. It corresponds with the Scorpio season, which is coming to a close very shortly, but you should expect to feel this all the way through the season and even into the shadow period after Mercury retrograde ends very shortly. It came out with the Three of Wands. I just want to say that for some of you, the way that this is sort of turning in your favor, and this is not to scare or upset anyone, and the more that you can surrender into this idea, the better things are going to feel, the easier things are going to play out. Okay, but that there may be a change in what you actually want. And I want to say that even if that feels like a difficult energy right now, there's no losing in that, because if you want it now but you don't want it later, you want something else later, then you are wanting what you want, and that is something that is positive. So there might be a change in that. And I think that what they're actually pointing to are any of those things that you have become attached to in a negative way that are creating pain or mental struggle, mental attachment. That's where so much of our pain comes from. And to me, this feels like a breaking of some of those attachments, because you are now aligning with a higher goal. Okay. Again, the Jupiterian energy coming in here and reminding us all about the higher goal, the higher truth, the higher perspective, the higher mind, the higher justice. I do feel a shift in that which you are allowing to be created in your world. It may be that you have stepped in and set some boundaries. And in doing that, you're canceling programs that you've been running. Okay. Victim programming, right? That's the one that's coming up right now. And as you change the way that you are interacting with these energies and these programs, you change the outcome. You stop attracting that kind of energy into your life. So a few weeks ago, I was getting this sense of, the masculine being the hero of his own life and making certain changes. I'm getting that feeling overall right now for the collective, being the hero of your own life. And it's not about moving forward and aggressively changing. It's about shifting your perspective. It's about shifting your focus. So it's a shift in focus that's taking place now. It's a death of the old way that you are focusing on things, and it is a new way of focusing, which is actually bringing in this abundance. There is a lot more power of creation that is coming in for the collective period, but it does seem to rely on your ability to allow the shift. If you're fighting it or in resistance to it, as I know a lot of people are, then this is going to take longer to happen for you. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but you have to be in surrender to it for it to come in. The keywords seem to be noticing and allowing, continue to be noticing and allowing. Those are like the keywords that have been coming up forever, right? So if you are like forcing things, that is also not very helpful. That is, for some of you, is going to be the energy that you're shifting out of. This continues to be a surrender into the energy of allowing, but it is a powerful point to be in, is a powerful position to be in. Because you are essentially saying that I have all energies of the universe at my disposal, and I am simply choosing which ones to align to and allow to enter my life. And so they enter at the highest octave, not the octave of ego or forcing anything to happen. Okay, let's get some more messages. King of Wands, Five of Wands. The hell? I don't know if this corresponds to like the regular card. I can't even think of what the individual faces look like in that. But this one girl has like this spiky face mask, and then this other girl has like a hospital face mask on. I don't even know what the hell is happening there. But I was really drawn to that. And I just want to, I just keep hearing that, you know, and this does not usually come out for Wands, but I'm just going to say it because that's what's coming up here, is that you're responsible for your words. You're responsible for the energy that you put out there through your mouth, whatever way that might be, whether that's in writing or talking or whatever. Even through the rest of your body. I mean, we are talking wands here, so this is all kinds of energy, but I'm just so drawn to their mouths being covered. You're responsible for your energy when you do not, when you do communicate, or when you communicate in a way that is coming out of ego, coming out of pain, coming out of fear. They're bringing me back to your responsibility for your own victim consciousness, or for your own, they want to focus on that a little bit, maybe because that's one of the ones that I was dealing with. Honestly, that was one of the ones where I was like, okay, are these fucking people who are messaging and emailing me like inappropriate shit, are they triggering my victim consciousness? Because this is a, you know, I've dealt with that on a certain level, but it feels to me like I'm just sort of pushing the rest of it through. But I'm also seeing other people dealing with this, and that's also what's kind of coming up here. So know that this is not a reading for me. But of course, that energy is coming up for me now. So it could be that you guys are also experiencing something like that. For some of you, it's coming out as like like being a prisoner. Some of you have felt like prisoners. And you are holding that in. Some of you are holding that in. So if that resonates with you, then just know that there is something that needs to be released there, that creates the empowerment. Okay, there's the King of Wands, which is all about empowerment, strength. They're saying skill. And this is like that pent up, like, wrecking crew on the inside. And that something about it needs to be released, but you are responsible for the way in which you release it. I have definitely met people and dealt with people who think for some reason that because they went through X, Y, or Z in their lives, that they can just release like fucking verbal diarrhea, any energy or feeling or emotion that they want to on other people because they're injured or whatever. They can do this because, and you know what, maybe they're not even consciously doing that they don't even make the connection. It depends on who you're dealing with and what level of like self-awareness they have. So I'm actually hearing that a lot of this is actually just going on in the collective right now. So you might notice people are like off or coming at you, or maybe they're not coming at you, but they're going at each other. But while, you know, everyone in the collective may be releasing some of this stuff, you're responsible for the manner in which you release it. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean you have to be nice or sugarcoat anything. Sometimes the bare truth is the best way you can handle something. But a tantrum isn't going to help. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference. I don't think I need to take time explaining what the difference is. Speaking from your truth is always going to be empowering. Even if it feels confusing, upsetting, off-putting, like some kind of whirlwind at first. What other messages for the collective, please? All right, so we have the Three of Pentacles. This comes out a lot these days. Temperance. And the Seven of Wands here. I think, okay, so I was just trying to like intuitively feel into that because sometimes some days I want to give it to me with like pictures. Some days it's really clearly all clairaudient. Today there are some clairaudience mixed with some clairsentience, I guess you would call it. It's like when I'm literally feeling in my body, it's like a really deep intuition. And what I'm getting from these three cards is this sense that in our confusion about what is actually transpiring in our worlds right now, like we feel weird. A lot of us, I think, feel weird. And there's a lot of upheaval happening, but there's a lot of growth happening at the same time. That this is the balancing taking place within us. And there's not always a need to try to get rid of that feeling. I don't even know if I've talked about this on this channel before, but I think I probably have. That like we so often are seeking to feel better, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing it in any way. I certainly want to feel better when I don't feel right. But sometimes the balance takes place as we allow the feelings, the emotions, the energies to sink in deeply. And that creates kind of the masterpiece, so to speak. Because I think I mentioned before, like it brings in, they're showing me like different codes even, or something that almost molds your energy as you allow the emotions to pass through. That this is like almost like the strokes of a brush, or like the chiseling away, creating the balancing and healing energy. So if you need a way to think about, and if you need a way to really, this card just came out, faith, to really wrap your faith around the process, it's because every one of these energies that's coming through right now is contributing to the balancing and the building, again, the building of the cathedral, the creation of the work of art that you are. The higher consciousness, the honing of the sort of purifying or perfection or something of the higher consciousness, bringing that in. This is the Sagittarius card. Also, by the way, which is another energy I was getting through the Wheel of Fortune because of the Jupiterian energy. So I do feel like, we talked a little bit about the energies that take place in the beginning of Sagittarius season with Venus and Jupiter conjunct the galactic center. This may have to do with that. It also might just be that this is the time when we allow these energies to flow through in order to create this balanced state. Do not block them. Do not resist them. Do not fight against them. Do not criticize yourself or these energies. Frankly, don't necessarily criticize the people bringing, who are related to the movement of these energies through you. Like somebody pisses you off, right? You can absolutely set up your boundaries like I just did today, right? But then release that person to the universe. Like, just know that there's a balancing taking place in some way. All right? There's a release. There's a breakdown of the walls of the ways in which we have not allowed ourselves to ascend or allowed ourselves to heal in the past, because maybe we had ideas about the way that that's supposed to look or supposed to be before, and now that's all changing. And the less that we mentally try to manipulate or control, the more that we surrender to they're saying like the benefactor of the universe, then the more that this balancing takes place. So all of the shit that you're feeling right now is a gift. I said that to somebody a couple weeks ago, and she was well-meaning, but she's one of those people who's still very much wrapped up in programming, and she was like, could not see that. So if you're in that space, all I can say is allow this idea to kind of filter in, and don't force it on yourself, but don't reject it. Just kind of allow it to be there, because it will come eventually. And your faith in allowing this process to take place is really, and your faith in the sort of beneficial aspect of this process is really what is bringing in this new way of seeing things. Okay? It's attracting, this also came out, attraction. It's attracting in different energy going forward. Actually, this is a number 44 card. To me, this is a master builder. This is also a master builder. And so the master builder here is the universe. It's God, it's creator. It's, on some level, Jupiter, right? As sort of a representation of that benevolent masculine figure, okay? That we have, obviously God is neither masculine or feminine. It is all. It is everything. But this is how we have typically thought of it in our societies. Not always, not all societies, but many, or cultures. So anyway, the master builder. And you are becoming the temple, they just said. You're becoming the temple, whatever that means. What does that mean, Source? What do that mean? Ten of Cups. Becoming the temple. You're becoming the vessel within which is held the highest, sort of the highest vibration, the sort of the God source energy. That's what I'm feeling through this card right now. It's almost like the Holy Grail on steroids in some way. You know what I mean? It's like holding heaven on earth within your own physical body, like not even it just being an energetic idea out there or something that we aspire to or reach to. You're becoming that within yourself. And just the knowing of that, the faith in that, attracts it in. Attracts in the energies which continue to sculpt your reality, that you're both you're both creating and allowing that in conjunction with source. Okay. I'm feeling like, let's do a Rumi card to end this. We have a Rumi card. Is this the one? Okay, we're going to do this one. I don't know what it's about. I've never pulled this one before. It's number 3. The dissolving light. Now, these are long, and I have a hard time reading without coughing, so hopefully I won't hack a lung up. This is the card. The dissolving light. I died as a mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as an animal and became human. Why should I fear anything? When was I ever less by dying? And so there's that death energy, and that energy of sort of the raising energy, the ascension, the becoming the heaven on earth, okay? Dare to take my hand and become set alight with holy fire, my cherished one. Step forward with me, let us burn together, dissembled in the light that cannot be extinguished. This is the light that burns with such incandescent truth that no falsehood can withstand its audacious vibrancy. Come with me now to the light, together we shall melt into truth. There is a light so intense, so powerful, that nothing other than itself, its own truth, can exist in its presence. It is the sacred seed, the star of your being, lit up from within. I feel like that is this energy that we were just talking about. It is the light that never goes out. It's the light that's so powerful, it's beyond duality of light and dark, cannot ever be extinguished or diminished, and quite simply beyond all logic, just is. Certainly no lie or deception, no boundary or defense can remain intact in its presence. It's that 7 of Wands just dissolving. The blazing divinity of this light sears through any presence, annihilates illusions, and takes us into stark experience of divine truth. It's gentleness, and yet it is gentleness, and yet it cannot be overcome. It is enduring power, and yet it is tender. Though you seek the divine and even know it as love, you also know that it is fierce, wild, inexplicable, and demanding beyond all measure. It wants you completely, utterly, without condition. There will be times in your life, such as now, when there is something not worthy of you that must be released. Absolutely. This is a falsehood, a lie, or deception of some sort that you have come to believe about yourself. These are those programs we're releasing. Your life, or perhaps another. You may know that what deception is, or it may be about to be unveiled. Oh, you may know what that deception is, or it may be about to be unveiled. It is not a cause for fear or concern, but for celebration. An illusion has or soon will be revealed, and you shall become free or freer, free in a way that only truth can provide. This oracle comes to you as a sign of that which is to come and soon. The beloved divine presence is calling to you, igniting within your deepest being, so that it may have its way with you. Lovely. The divine wishes to live through you and in the world, reaching into the hearts of many and igniting those hearts into greater life. It is a clever and insatiable lover. It will stop at nothing until the entire human race is restored to wild divine freedom of ecstatic divine reunion, completely and utterly ignited in love. And so the great lover, the divine, calls for you to enter into the white-hot field of its passionate presence. This will be sizzle and burn. It cannot be otherwise. In the height of summer, you cast aside the layers of clothing you require in the winter. This is natural. You do not think twice about it. As you approach the radiant sun of divinity, your emotional and psychological layers are to be shed too, for they are too heavy for the heat of the great spiritual sun. What cannot stand the heavenly heat is to be cast aside swiftly by conscious choice, or shall simply burn up, dissolving in the light and melting away. What is left shall be what is true. So here is your guidance, sweet lover of the great beloved. Give it up. The smallness, the conditions, the fears and doubts, the lack of reverence for yourself and life, the belief that somehow things are not okay or aren't going to work out. That is all a paltry attempt at truth. You are coming into a truth now that is far more worthy of you. This is that new truth we were talking about. A truth with a capital T, the big truth, love, trust, surrender. This is about a sacred shedding without fear or holding back. Cast aside whatever would hold you back rather than free you to fly into your divine destiny. You are not to be the same from this moment on. This is the holy word, the word inscribed in living divine fire in your sacred heart. This oracle brings you guidance. Trust in your changing perspective and perceptions. Don't hold on to what you once believed or thought to be true. Allow yourself to be shown another version of events, another way of perceiving. Don't focus on what is not working in your current estimation of things, for that is nothing more than a passing opinion. You are being given an opportunity to see and know yourself, others, and particular life circumstances very differently. Embrace it. Don't resist what was being shown to you. For even if there are some struggles in adjusting your view at first, ultimately this change in perception will free you and bring you more deeply into the wellspring of your own inner peace and happiness. So awesome message, especially with all of these changing perceptions. Like, this is crazy, and I have absolutely experienced it. And sort of the balancing act, not really act, the balancing, the becoming, the artist brush at work, to becoming the vessel holding. This is, I don't know why these religious words are coming through, but like the Holy of Holies, that kind of energy coming to you now through the changes and the change in perception and the releasing of these kind of conflicting energies, the empowerment that comes to you now. Okay. So guys, I hope this is helpful. Just a quick reminder, if you do want to do an energy healing session or reading session with me, you can schedule it on this website. And I always appreciate you guys, all of your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. It helps so much when you do that. It helps other people find my channel as well. And just really appreciate you all being here. I hope you're doing great, and I will see you next time. Bye.